Suddenly, a metallic dragon sprang to life in Dave's hand. It crawled up his arm, coiled its tail around his finger, and transformed into a dragon-shaped ring. Upon seeing this, Balthazar finally breathed a sigh of relief. After 1,000 years, the dragon ring had at last found its true master. He was just about to pick up his book of magic when, all of a sudden, a Russian nesting doll dropped near Dave's feet. Brimming with curiosity, Dave picked it up and began to examine it closely. Suddenly, a large crack appeared right across the middle of the doll. Startled, Dave instantly threw it away. Cockroaches began crawling out from inside, spreading all over the floor. Then they started to gather together, forming the shape of a human. It was Horvath, a dark sorcerer who had been imprisoned for 1,000 years. The moment he raised his hand to attack Dave, Balthazar stepped in just in time. A fierce magical battle broke out between the two of them. At the same time, the nesting doll began rolling back towards Dave. Seeing this, Horvath conjured a wall of fire and started advancing. But at the very last moment, Balthazar burst through the flames. He sealed both himself and Horvath inside a jello. Terrified, Dave immediately ran outside, threw the nesting doll into the street, and hurried to call his teacher. In a panic, he told him everything that had happened. But when the two of them returned to the shop, everything was exactly as it had been before. In fact, 3,000 years ago, when the world was ruled by sorcerers, the greatest and most powerful among the good sorcerers was Merlin. He passed on the knowledge of his unique magical powers to his 3 apprentices, Balthazar, Veronica, and Maxim. These 3 were his legacy, the ones he trusted most. However, Maxim betrayed Merlin and joined Morgana, the queen of dark magic. Morgana's aim was to enslave the entire world using her dark powers. Merlin, together with his apprentices, tried everything to stop her. But in a shocking twist, Maxim attacked Merlin from behind and killed him with a sword. Morgana's spirit was so dangerous that she planned to use a powerful spell to raise the dead and create her own army. To stop this, Balthazar and Veronica gave it their all. Showing immense courage, Veronica absorbed Morgana's spirit into her own body. Then, using his intelligence, Balthazar sealed both Veronica and Morgana inside a magical nesting doll called the Grimhold. It was a prison made up of multiple magical layers. Morgana's followers tried to free her, but Balthazar trapped them inside the same doll, sealing them layer by layer. Before dying, Merlin gave Balthazar a dragon ring and told him that whoever could wear this ring would be his true successor. From that moment on, Balthazar made it his life's mission to find that successor. He traveled the world but never found the right person. Now 10 years later, the story moves forward. Dave's now grown up and studying physics at New York University. He is intelligent but somewhat socially awkward and lonely. The most important part of his life is his underground lab, where he works on a Tesla coil, a device that generates high-frequency electricity and light. Dave is in love with his childhood friend Becky, but she only sees him as a good mate. Meanwhile, after 10 years, the magic of the vessel breaks and both Balthazar and Maxim are freed. Maxim begins searching for Dave to find the grim old doll. He eventually tracks him down and asks where it is. Nervous, Dave tells him that he threw it into a drain nearby. Maxim doesn't believe him and thinks Dave is lying. Enraged, he attacks Dave and summons dangerous wolves using dark magic to chase him. Dave runs for his life and reaches an underground station when the wolves nearly corner him. Just when it seems as though he won't survive, Balthazar arrives in time, distracts Maxim and rescues Dave. Balthazar then tries to explain everything to Dave. He tells him that the Grimhold contains Morgana and her dangerous followers, and if Maxim manages to open it, Morgana could destroy the entire world. He tries to make Dave understand his responsibility, but Dave feels overwhelmed and confused. Angrily, Dave says he doesn't want to be part of any magical world. It's not for him. Calmly, Balthazar tells him that he only needs to stay with him until they find the Grimhold. After that, he'll be free, and Balthazar will never bother him again. After some hesitation, Dave agrees. They set off in Balthazar's car to find the Grimhold, knowing that time is running out. Meanwhile, Maxim uses dark magic to track the doll and discovers that it was picked up by a Chinese woman from the street. He goes to her house, and shortly afterwards Balthazar also turns up there. But as soon as Balthazar starts talking to the woman, he realizes it's actually Maxim in disguise, trying to trap him. A powerful magical battle breaks out between them. During the fight, Maxim opens another layer of the Grimhold to protect himself, releasing a Chinese sorcerer. This sorcerer transforms into a massive and terrifying dragon and begins chasing Dave. The dragon's roar shakes the entire area. Meanwhile, Balthazar manages to trap Maxim inside the house again and retrieves the doll. But he knows the real threat now is the dragon. He tells Dave to run because the dragon's coming after him. Then he instructs Dave to use the dragon ring to defeat it. At first, Dave is frightened, but he gathers all his focus and courage. The ring begins to glow, and he unleashes a powerful lightning attack at the dragon. The intense energy strikes the dragon, killing it. After this, Dave and Balthazar return to the map. Knowing how dangerous the Grimhold is, Balthazar hides it in a secret location using magic, so well concealed that it can only be seen by magical means. He then gives Dave a magical book and tells him he can learn magic by studying it. Balthazar also shows him a Merlin circle and warns him that once he enters it, he cannot leave until he has fully mastered magic. It is a test. Dave pauses for a moment, but then recognizes his inner strength and sense of duty and decides to step into the circle. Balthazar explains to him that every sorcerer's power lies in their ring. Your ring gives you power, but it is only a conduit. The real magic comes from your confidence and focus. Along with this, Balthazar gives Dave a pair of magical shoes. He explains that these shoes will prevent the magical energy he generates from being lost to the ground. Now fully prepared, Dave begins his first lesson inside the Merlin Circle. He accepts every challenge and gradually starts to learn how to use magic. Meanwhile, Maxim presses on with his plan and goes to meet one of Morgana's former followers, a sorcerer named Drake Stone. Drake, who has now become a famous magician and celebrity, is highly skilled in dark magic. Maxim successfully persuades him to join forces, and together they begin planning to free Morgana from the Grimhold doll. Meanwhile, Dave goes to meet his childhood friend and crush, Becky. During their meeting, a thief steals Becky's handbag. Using his newly acquired magical abilities, Dave manages to get it back. Seeing this, Becky is impressed and starts to see him in a new light. At the same time, Balthazar returns to his old shop and gathers some important items, including ancient magical books and a necklace that belonged to Veronica. This necklace is very special to him because it reminds him of her. Meanwhile, Maxim and Drake attack Dave with the intention of taking the Grimhold doll. Maxim tries to manipulate Dave by lying that his beloved is trapped inside the doll. This confuses Dave, but just then Balthazar arrives. Using his magic, Balthazar traps Maxim inside a mirror and knocks Drake unconscious. However, Dave is now exhausted from everything that has been happening. He directly questions Balthazar, asking what exactly is inside the doll and why he's being dragged into all of this. Balthazar finally tells him the truth, that the most dangerous sorceress, Morgana, is sealed inside the Grimhold. She wanted to enslave the entire world using a soul-awakening spell. Balthazar continues, explaining that the three of them, Merlin's apprentices, tried to stop her. But Dave needs to understand that he is not an ordinary human. Merlin's blood flows within him, and only he has the power to defeat Morgana. Meanwhile, Maxim uses his dark powers to locate Dave's lab. At the same time, Dave, struggling with self-doubt and a lack of belief in his magic, falls into depression. He tells Balthazar that he is not the one who can defeat Morgana, and that they have chosen the wrong person. To clear his mind, Dave goes to meet Becky. Suddenly, Maxim breaks into Dave's lab and uses his dark magic to capture Balthazar. He then takes possession of the Grimhold doll. At this point, a major secret is revealed. Maxim betrayed Merlin because Veronica loved Balthazar. This jealousy had been growing inside him all of them. Maxim prepares to kill Balthazar, but just then Dave arrives. Using his newly learned magic, Dave manages to fight back bravely and drives Maxim and Drake away. After this, Balthazar and Dave chase after Maxim. Their car speeds off, but Maxim uses his powers to trap them inside a magical mirror. Inside this mirror world, everything is reversed and there is no easy way out. However, Balthazar's intelligence and experience help them to escape. By the time they get out, Maxim and Drake have already escaped with the Grimhold doll. On their way back, Balthazar tells Dave more about his past. He admits that he loved Veronica deeply and she loved him just as much. Meanwhile, Maxim moves on to the next phase of his plan. To free Morgana, he absorbs all of Drake's magical power into himself and kills him. Not only does he kill Drake, but he also takes his magical ring and attaches it to his staff, making himself far more powerful than before. Now, the moment to free Morgana is very close. Dave and Balthazar break into Drake's house to retrieve the Grimhold doll. They sneak inside, but Balthazar gets trapped in a magical swamp and struggles to escape, even with his powers. Meanwhile, Dave finds the Grimhold doll, but Maxim appears and reveals that he has taken Becky hostage. He threatens Dave. If he doesn't hand over the doll and the ring, Becky will be killed. Faced with a heartbreaking choice, Dave decides to save Becky and reluctantly gives Maxim both the doll and the ring. Balthazar, who barely manages to escape the swamp, decides to go after Maxim again, leaving Dave behind. Meanwhile, Dave starts working on his Tesla coil. He places it in front of his car so it can absorb Morgana's magical energy. At the same time, Maxim uses his power to release Morgana from the doll. However, instead of Morgana, Veronica emerges because Morgana's spirit is still inside her body. Morgana begins chanting a spell and uses aerials to gather electromagnetic waves, forming a magical circle to raise the dead. Balthazar tries to stop Maxim, but Maxim's power is now far greater and he defeats Balthazar, leaving him unconscious. Morgana's ritual circle is nearly complete and she is about to bring countless souls back to life. But just then, Becky reaches the top and disrupts the aerial break in the circle. Dave arrives in his car, and as Maxim attacks him with his staff, the Tesla coil absorbs all of his energy, killing him. With the circle broken, Veronica falls unconscious, but Morgana's spirit still remains inside her body. The spirit leaves Veronica and launches a final attack. In this critical moment, Dave uses his magic to block Morgana's attack. He realizes that now he must combine science and magic to defeat her once and for all. Gathering all his energy, Dave creates a powerful magical circle and channels an immense amount of electricity. The energy becomes so overwhelming that Morgana's spirit cannot withstand it and is completely destroyed. However, during this intense battle, Balthazar loses his life. In the end, Dave uses his magical circle once more to channel energy into Balthazar's body, bringing him back to life. Now Morgana's powers are completely gone, and Dave has finally embraced his true strength. By using his power wisely, he defeats the darkness and successfully saves the world.